The elements manifest distinctively across different creative domains, their particular qualities finding unique expression through the characteristic challenges and opportunities each field presents. The business world increasingly recognizes innovation as essential capability rather than occasional luxury. Yet many organizations struggle with implementing creative processes beyond superficial techniques or isolated initiatives. Elemental Understanding provides comprehensive framework for developing innovation culture through balanced attention to complementary dimensions often treated separately. Earth-centered innovation emphasizes incremental improvement, resource optimization, and sustainable implementation. The patient refinement of existing systems through careful attention to practical details and efficiency. Companies like Toyota pioneered this approach through Kaizen philosophy, focusing on continuous small improvements rather than dramatic disruptions, creating cumulative innovation through methodical refinement that honors established foundations while gradually evolving their expression. Fire-centered innovation focuses on disruptive transformation, motivational leadership, and bold vision. The catalytic reimagining of possibilities through passionate commitment to new paradigms. Organizations like SpaceX exemplify this approach through ambitious missions that challenge fundamental assumptions about what's possible, creating revolutionary innovation through inspired direction that motivates extraordinary effort toward transformative goals. Air-centered innovation prioritizes systematic thinking, open information flow, and conceptual frameworks, the intellectual architecture that organizes creative exploration through coherent models. Companies like Google institutionalized this approach through their original 20% time, allowing exploration beyond immediate responsibilities, creating strategic innovation through thoughtful connections between seemingly unrelated domains and systematic frameworks that balance exploration with focused implementation. Water-centered innovation cultivates empathic understanding, intuitive exploration, and emotional intelligence, the depth dimension that connects with genuine human needs beyond surface market analysis. Organizations like IDEO pioneered design thinking's human-centered approach, creating meaningful innovation through deep immersion in user experience that reveals unarticulated needs and emotional responses that purely analytical approaches might miss. Integrated innovation emerges when organizations consciously develop all four dimensions, rather than over-specializing in approaches aligned with founding leadership or industry norms. Companies achieving this balance, like Apple under Steve Jobs, combining visionary direction with obsessive implementation detail, conceptual clarity with intuitive understanding of emotional relationship with technology, demonstrate how elemental integration creates sustainable innovation beyond what any single approach could achieve alone. While scientific method provides essential framework for knowledge development, history reveals that breakthrough discoveries emerge through complex interplay of systematic process and less quantifiable dimensions that elemental understanding helps illuminate. Earth in science manifests through methodical experimentation, meticulous documentation, and reproducible results, the essential ground of empirical research maintaining connection with physical reality beyond theoretical speculation. From Darwin's painstaking specimen collection to contemporary laboratory protocols ensuring replicability, Earth energy provides foundation for scientific credibility through disciplined observation and verification. Fire in science appears through paradigm-shifting hypotheses, passionate pursuit of discovery, and courage challenging established consensus, the transformative force driving exploration beyond current knowledge boundaries. From Einstein's thought experiments reimagining fundamental physics to Curie's determined investigation of radioactivity despite personal danger, fire energy catalyzes scientific breakthroughs through vision that persists despite initial resistance. Air in science expresses through theoretical modeling, mathematical formalization, and systematic frameworks, the conceptual architecture organizing observations into coherent understanding. From Newton's calculus development to contemporary computational models simulating complex systems, Air energy creates scientific advancement through abstract patterns revealing relationships invisible to direct observation alone. Water in science emerges through intuitive pattern recognition, creative hypothesis generation, and embodied knowing that guides exploration. The nonlinear dimension often minimized in formal scientific accounts, yet crucial to actual discovery. From Kekule's dream revealing benzene ring structure to numerous accounts of solutions appearing during sleep or relaxation, water energy facilitates scientific insight through receptive states accessing understanding beyond conscious analysis. Integrated scientific discovery occurs when researchers maintain balance between rigorous methodology and intuitive exploration, theoretical elegance and empirical grounding, transformative vision and patient verification. Scientists who consciously cultivate this elemental integration, maintaining methodological discipline without sacrificing creative intuition, developing theoretical sophistication without losing connection with physical reality, access the full spectrum of human intelligence necessary for profound discovery. The arts perhaps most explicitly demonstrate elemental energies in their diverse forms and approaches, yet elemental wisdom reveals how even apparently contrasting artistic philosophies represent complementary dimensions of integrated creative expression. Earth in art manifests through technical mastery, material understanding, and craft tradition, the foundational skills translating vision into tangible form. Fire in art appears through original vision, emotional intensity, and transformative communication, the passionate expression that distinguishes mere technical exercise from work that moves audiences. From Picasso's revolutionary formal innovations to Frida Kahlo's unflinching self-portraiture, air in art expresses through conceptual frameworks, symbolic systems, and communicative clarity, the intellectual architecture organizing aesthetic elements into coherent statement. From Bach's mathematical precision and musical structure to conceptual artists exploring philosophical questions through visual means, water in art emerges through emotional resonance, symbolic depth, and intuitive expression, the receptive dimension connecting with unconscious currents beneath rational understanding. From Debussy's impressionistic compositions, evoking subtle emotional landscapes, to poetry accessing emotional truth through metaphorical thinking, integrated artistic expression develops when creators consciously cultivate all four dimensions, rather than identifying exclusively with approaches aligned with personal temperament or artistic movement. Artists achieving this balance, like Shakespeare combining technical virtuosity with visionary imagination, conceptual sophistication with emotional depth, demonstrate how elemental integration creates enduring work resonating across centuries through its multi-dimensional completeness. Beyond understanding general patterns, developing sustainable creative practice requires personalized approach honoring your unique elemental constitution while addressing specific challenges you face in creative work. Effective creative development begins with honest assessment of your natural elemental tendencies within creative context, recognizing both innate strengths and potential development areas. Consider reflection around these questions. Natural creative element. In which elemental territory do you most naturally function when creating? Do you excel at practical manifestation through disciplined implementation, visionary direction through passionate commitment, conceptual development through analytical thinking, or intuitive exploration through receptive depth? Common creative challenges. What patterns typically emerge during your creative process? Do you struggle with completion despite excellent beginning? Find yourself unmotivated despite clear understanding of what to do? Have difficulty articulating or organizing your insights, or feel disconnected from authentic intuition or emotional depth? Supportive conditions. What environments, structures, or approaches most effectively support your creative work? Do you thrive with clear deadlines and practical parameters? Need inspiring purpose and energetic momentum? benefit from conceptual clarity and systematic frameworks, or require emotional safety and receptive space? Creative aspirations. What qualities would you most like to develop in your creative work beyond current strengths? Greater technical excellence and reliable productivity, more innovative vision and passionate engagement, clearer conceptual frameworks and communicative precision, or deeper intuitive access and emotional resonance? This assessment creates foundation for personalized creative practice beyond generic techniques, recognizing your unique starting point, characteristic challenges, and developmental directions that would most enhance your particular creative expression. Whether addressing earth deficiency or building upon natural strengths in this element, specific practices help develop the manifestation capacity essential for transforming creative potential into completed reality. Creation before consumption establishes productive rhythm beginning day with generation rather than input. By engaging in creative work before checking email, social media, news, or other external content, this practice prevents the common pattern where reception continues indefinitely without transitioning to expression, using morning's fresh energy for manifesting rather than absorbing. Minimum viable creation overcomes perfectionism through commitment to completing simplified versions before elaborate refinement. Whether writing basic draft before polishing prose, creating functional prototype before aesthetic refinement, or recording simple demo before full production, this approach maintains forward momentum through progressive manifestation rather than attempting impossible perfection in initial attempts. Physical anchoring enhances creative manifestation through conscious environment design supporting sustained focus. Whether establishing dedicated workspace with materials readily available, creating ritual elements that signal creative mode, removing digital distractions during creation sessions, or attending to bodily needs supporting sustained attention, this approach uses tangible reality to reinforce creative discipline. Incremental completion builds manifestation capacity through dividing projects into clearly defined segments with visible progress markers. By establishing specific components that can be definitively completed rather than maintaining perpetual works in progress, this practice creates psychological momentum through concrete achievement, while preventing the discouragement of seemingly endless projects without closure. Whether addressing fire deficiency or building upon natural strengths in this element, specific practices help develop the motivational energy essential for inspired and sustainable creative work. Purpose journaling establishes motivational foundation through conscious connection with authentic meaning beyond external validation. By regularly exploring questions about what genuinely matters in your creative work, what specific qualities you wish to manifest, and how creation connects with your deepest values, this practice maintains internal motivation when external rewards prove insufficient for sustained engagement. Energy management sustains creative motivation through conscious attention to personal rhythms and regenerative practices, whether scheduling challenging creative work during natural energy peaks, incorporating movement breaks preventing physical stagnation, ensuring adequate rest between intensive sessions, or nourishing yourself with inspiring inputs balanced with creative output. This approach maintains sustainable creative fire through appropriate pacing. Courage building develops capacity for creative risk through graduated exposure to potential judgment or failure. By sharing work progressively with expanding circles, first trusted allies, then constructive critics, finally appropriate public, this practice builds resilience through manageable challenge rather than either hiding creation from all feedback or prematurely exposing vulnerable work to potentially destructive criticism. Inspirational curation maintains creative energy through deliberate collection of works, ideas, and experiences that reliably spark enthusiasm. Whether creating inspiration journal with images and quotes, developing playlists supporting creative mood, regularly engaging with masters in your field, or systematically exposing yourself to cross-disciplinary influences, this approach treats inspiration not as mysterious visitation, but as capacity actively cultivated through conscious attention. Whether addressing air deficiency or building upon natural strengths in this element, specific practices help develop the conceptual clarity essential for coherent and communicative creative work. Concept mapping develops organizational clarity through visual representation of relationships between elements. Whether using mind maps showing connections between ideas, storyboards sequencing narrative components, functional diagrams illustrating system interactions, or other visual frameworks appropriate to creative domain, this practice transforms vague mental understanding into explicit structure-guiding implementation. Constraint setting enhances creativity through deliberate limitation that focuses exploration within productive boundaries. Whether restricting palette in visual arts, adopting specific form in writing, setting particular parameters for design solution, or otherwise establishing creative rules for specific project, this practice prevents scattered diffusion through focused exploration within consciously chosen constraints. Perspective shifts develop conceptual flexibility through deliberately adopting viewpoints beyond habitual position. Whether considering how different audiences might experience your work, examining creative challenge through lens of different discipline, reversing conventional assumptions as thought experiment, or otherwise temporarily inhabiting unfamiliar mental territory. This approach prevents conceptual rigidity through conscious expansion beyond comfortable patterns. Articulation practice strengthens communicative clarity through regular expression of complex ideas in accessible language. Whether explaining creative concepts to non-specialists, writing artist statements, translating intuitive process into explicit description, receiving feedback specifically on clarity rather than just content, or otherwise developing precision in conveying meaning. This approach builds capacity to communicate creative vision effectively to intended audience. Whether addressing water deficiency or building upon natural strengths in this element, specific practices help develop the intuitive depth essential for meaningful and resonant creative work. Receptive listening creates foundation for intuitive guidance through regular attention to subtle internal signals beyond analytical thinking. Whether through meditation, allowing thoughts to settle, free writing without censorship or direction, mindful walking with open awareness, or other practices creating psychological space where quieter knowing can emerge, this approach develops relationship with intuitive wisdom, often drowned out by louder voices of convention or criticism. Emotional attunement enhances creative depth through conscious connection with feeling dimension of experience. Whether through reflective writing, exploring emotional relationship with creative work, somatic awareness of bodily sensations accompanying creative process, mindful attention to emotional responses to different creative directions, or other practices developing emotional intelligence. This approach ensures creation maintains connection with authentic feeling rather than becoming merely intellectual exercise. Liminal cultivation develops access to creative states between conscious and unconscious processing, whether through hypnagogic practice capturing insights emerging during transition to sleep, morning writing before fully awake, deliberately engaging in monotonous activities, allowing mind to wander productively, or other approaches accessing associative thinking beyond directed cognition. This method creates conditions where unexpected connections and original perspectives naturally emerge. Symbolic exploration deepens creative work through engagement with metaphorical thinking beyond literal understanding. Whether through dream recording and interpretation, active imagination dialoguing with creative challenges, mythological amplification connecting personal work with universal patterns, or other approaches accessing archetypal dimensions, this practice enriches creation through connection with psychological depth beyond conceptual surface. Beyond developing individual elements, creative mastery emerges through practices that consciously integrate earth, fire, air, and water into a coherent whole. These practices create a sum greater than separate strengths. Creative cycle awareness develops meta-understanding of your process through conscious tracking of elemental phases. By recognizing which element currently needs emphasis, this practice prevents common creative derailments. Whether it's receptive gestation, conceptual clarification, motivated implementation, or disciplined completion, understanding the current phase helps align your creative energy appropriately. Complementary collaboration strategically leverages relationships with creators whose elemental strengths complement your own. Whether formally partnering or seeking specific feedback, this approach creates access to elemental wisdom beyond your natural tendencies. Multimodal creation develops elemental range through engaging diverse creative practices. Whether an analytically oriented creator engages in intuitive dance, or a conceptually driven writer practices improvisational music, this approach builds flexibility. By temporarily inhabiting creative forms outside your habitual domain, you build neuropsychological flexibility through deliberate expansion beyond comfortable patterns. Personal creative ritual creates a container supporting elemental balance through intentional practices. This might include a grounding exercise, purposeful reflection, conceptual clarity, and receptive opening to intuitive guidance. This integrated approach creates a psychological foundation where all elements contribute their essential qualities to your creative work, tailored to your unique constitution and specific challenges. Through these practices, creativity transforms from a mysterious gift or painful struggle into a natural expression of your inherent wholeness. Not through imposing generic techniques, but through conscious cultivation of a balanced relationship with the fundamental energies that constitute your multidimensional creative capacity.